Well, hi, it's Shane from Shane's Reviews, and I hope you are having a great day today. We are going to be talking about Douglas Adams today. Life, the universe, and everything, parentheses, not the galaxy, as I said right before I said it correctly in a previous video. Anyway, so this was indeed wrote by Douglas Adams, and the narrations were by Martin Freeman. Just a quick note on the narrations: very enjoyable, light voice, fairly good to listen to, and not overly dramatic, not overly done, just the right amount of silly, which is pretty cool. So where we left off, ooh, things are changing in this little universe. Yes, it is indeed. And it's a fun ride on this one. This one's a lot shorter than some of the others, that's for sure. But there's some introspective type things that are happening with some of the characters. You know, oh god, I almost said it wrong. Beeblebrox. I always have a problem with that. Zyphoid, Mr. Beeblebrox. He's having an issue. So he's achieved his mission, of course, that he didn't actually want to go on, but he tricked himself into doing and put a big burned initial thing in his brain in the last one and delivered, or not delivered, the ship, etc., all this sort of. So his paradoxical, I've now completed my life task is done, and he's having a, what would be described as a quarter, half, three-quarter, and improbable life crisis. So this book is just so silly. Remember the mattresses? Yes, the mattresses. I mentioned that in the last video, and in this one, the mattresses, oh boy, they're very well described. So if you're curious about that, this is the one to check out. I mean, just for that section alone for myself, it was definitely worth me purchasing that book just the first time, because oh, good stuff that. And so these mattresses, they're described as going through like swamplands and, you know, frolicking around and making these very special sounds. And this actually plays into the crisis that Beeblebrox is having, because all of a sudden there's these whoop sounds. There's a lot of them, and it's driving him nuts, but he doesn't know if it's a mattress or what's making the sounds. And Trillian, she kind of gets to the point where she's fed up with Beeblebrox because he's known to be an eccentric drinker of alcohols. And there's this one beautiful scene where he sends the first drink down, and he's not sure that it understood exactly what he was trying to accomplish. So he kind of described to the second drink what he was wanting to do and sent it down to talk to the first drink. But again, the second drink seems like it might have got lost. So he gave more instructions to the third drink on what he wanted to get done with being inebriated and a greater detailed plan, and sent that one down as well. But he was afraid that the third one and the first one might not really get along, so he asked the third one to work with the first one, so maybe they could rally the second one and get the second one on board with what they should be doing with the first one and the third one. But by this point, he went ahead and sent a fourth one down to try to help even out the odds, so one of them didn't fill. See what I mean? It's one of those things that it's so funny in so many ways, because, I mean, who really does that with drinks? You just drink them. But no, Beeblebrox takes it to a new level, doesn't he? Anyway, so we've got that going on, and in this one, there's a couple of really good segues where Trillian's reading about improbable type things, her reading about flying and the knack of it, and what you have to do to be able to fly as a person and as a hitchhiker, and that is to be absolutely distracted, so that your brain can't think about the three things that it would be thinking about as you're falling, such as this is going to hurt whenever I land, I can't fly, and how impossible and improbable it is that I would be able to fly. So if you're distracted at the right moment, then you can accidentally miss the ground, and there you go. That's how you fly. So there's a lot of those really unique types of description, but there's also the story. It gets a little bit more interesting because it's getting a little bit more realistic. Not really realistic, but realistic in the sense of humans and the way that we think and feel. Individuals are having their own little issues to work out, because if you remember, Arthur did get stuck on not Earth, or Second Earth, or the Earth that the mice had come up with along with Ford, and Ford had spent his time away while Arthur was enjoying his peace and talking with the trees, jumping in and out of a gin and tonic. And come to find out, it's that he came across a lake that he thought itself to be a gin tonic, and was jumping in and out of that for a few weeks. Yeah, is it worth your time, efforts, and energies? If you've not even read the first one or the second one, I'm not sure how it would stand up, because there is a lot of referencing things, and it might just make it just that much more impossible and funny to read it out of order. I don't know, but it would certainly be worth your energies, because it's gold. It's funny, and it's certainly a good laugh and a good ride. You know, the feelings of the book, it's tremendous amounts of joy and laughter for me, because anything that's sci-fi I pretty well will enjoy. But on top of it being sci-fi, it's space, there's aliens, everybody's a misfit, and it's not that they're anti-heroes. There's a couple of hero-type personalities in there, but it's just how much of a screw-up they are that makes it so funny to me, that they could even be in this situation in the first place. And one of the statements that come from it that has really stuck with me over the years from this particular book was they didn't understand the improbability fields in the circular logic within. So even if something appears to be absolutely improbable, that means that it's probably going to happen anyway, and more frequently and more likely to happen in the next few seconds. It's a paraphrase of it, but I mean, that's the gist of it. And how many times in life has that been true for you? Question of the week right there. How many times have the improbable situation, something that you couldn't have seen coming, happened anyway, even though you were trying to avoid? Right? So, with that being said, there's other feelings in the book. Like, I kind of feel bad for Beeblebrox because, you know, he should be the galactic, universal, I am president. He has the capabilities of being a very successful individual, but he's holding himself back. And then Trillian, she just really wants, I'm not really sure what Trillian wants. I know that she was upset about the planet, her home planet being exploded by the Vogons to make a bypass. I know that there's been a couple times where it seems like romantically she may have been interested in Beeblebrox, but got over that quickly. And then Arthur, but maybe not so much. And as far as Ford goes, Ford's just there for the ride. He's just there to have some fun. You know, and Arthur, poor little nervous ninny that he is, he really wants things to never change and all that, but he's always forced to deal with it anyway. So whenever we look at him in that perspective, it kind of adds a different feel for me anyway, because I can imagine how much struggle there is for each one of those characters in the situations that they're in. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look into it. If you like comedy, you like sci-fi, you like space, look at it. It's excellent. The entire series is funny. So it's been a joy going back over these and reading. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, we still have a bunch more coming up that are in the hall right now, as it were. We just finished Host, we just finished Life, the Universe, and Everything, so that leaves us with The Haunted Air, which is book 6 of F. Paul Wilson's Repairman Jack series. Daughter from the Dark, which is by Marina and Sergei Diachekno. And then, of course, we're going to be going over Ender's Game. And I think I forgot to mention Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erikson last time. So those are the ones that we have left in there. And that gets us to that point where I say thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you so very much. If you ever run into me on the streets, I'll get you an ice cream cone if it's in the summer. Or maybe we can get a cup of coffee. Yeah. I'm not sure which one of these two videos over here YouTube's going to want you to check out. But if you do happen to check one of those out, I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. This is Shane with Shane's Reviews, and I will see you, and maybe even you, in the next video. Peace.